Chapter 3. Puppy Love. When meeting someone new at a party, a social gathering, or an event, one person invariably asks about the profession of the other. It's a natural part of social interaction between relative strangers, making conversation, and, in some cases, actually trying to get to know one another. Depending on the circumstance or to whom I'm talking, I either state that I'm a social worker or a dating and relationship coach. While the former generally ends the questioning rather quickly, the latter typically raises interest and further probing. Many times when talking with men, I often choose to tell them that I'm a dating and relationship coach. This allows me to gather lots of useful and honest answers to my questions. I think of it as fun, anecdotal research of sorts. Mostly, I am asked a lot of questions myself, so I have to be in the mood to talk about what I do for a living. One such encounter happened while on a layover between flights from San Francisco to New York City. I was parked on a bar stool, catching up on emails, having a mediocre dinner with the totally disengaged bartender, while watching the 24-hour-a-day political channel airing on the TV above. A man in his mid to late 30s was seated next to me, and we somehow began discussing the latest media-inflamed story. When he asked what I did for a living, since I had nothing but time, I decided to be forthcoming. This traveler was instantly talkative and took it as his chance to make a few statements, some of them only slightly veiled as questions for which he wanted a female perspective. One such statement, that luckily came after I had decided to order a glass of wine, took me aback at first. "I don't understand you women," he said. "Why wouldn't you just want to have sex all the time with any guy? You have the opportunity anytime you want, with whoever you want, and it feels good, so why wouldn't you just do it? It doesn't make any sense to me." I didn't know if it was just the right amount of vodka that helped him voice his feelings with a female stranger, or if he truly didn't understand the inherent difference between men and women, and was merely naive or stupid enough to ask a question in the blunt manner that he did. It didn't matter, he had voiced it. I was simply glad to have a glass of wine to pick up in that moment. While it might be easy to immediately think of this airport stranger as a total bonehead, he was so sincere in the question that it was almost sad to witness him ask it. I could see that he was truly disheartened that the world of sexual interaction between the genders was so difficult and complex for women, while for him it was simple and straightforward. From this man's point of reference, it really didn't make any sense that women, able to have exactly what he wants to have as a man, wouldn't take advantage of the ability to have it. He went on to paint a picture of how the world would be if women were, well, not women, but men. I realized this man was simply voicing the frustration all men have at one time or another, or in some cases, all the time. This guy knew he would never see me again and didn't care that he came off as immature or idiotic. He just wanted to vent, and felt that because I do what I do, I would not find anything he said about women to be mildly offensive or totally lacking in insight. Entrapment. We are all trapped by our own experiences, none of which are quite as significant as those that happen because of our gender. While the man at the airport was an extreme example of a male unable to relate to the experience of being female, to one degree or another, we all have a bit of difficulty putting ourselves in the shoes of the opposite sex. In my years as a coach for women, and also as a female with female family members and friends, it has been my experience that the greatest cause of women's heartbreak and pain comes from their inability to understand and accept how men view women, love them, make their decisions to commit to them, and bond. I thought that if I could somehow convey to women the way men experience women and love, I would be helping women not only to heal from their disappointments and losses a bit more easily, but also to feel much better about themselves and more confident in general. I also knew that in order for women to really get it, I would need to relay how men experience women through an experience that women have or have had themselves. The puppy principle was born. He's a litter bug. Imagine for a moment that you're seriously considering getting a puppy of your own for the very first time. You happily research and find a breeder who you feel is going to have just the right pup to be your new love. You call the breeder who says, "You're in luck. About 9 weeks ago we had 3 full litters, so come on by and take your pick." You excitedly call one of your closest friends, Laura, who loves dogs as much as you do. She agrees to make the trip with you, and you head to the breeder's home where you're warmly welcomed. Just walking in the door creates a feeling of excitement. The feeling grows with each step as Miss Breeder escorts you to an adjacent playroom filled with 17 frolicking little bundles of joy and pep. She tells you to take all the time you'd like, and she'll check in with you later. You immediately drop to the floor to take in all of the adorableness, and Laura happily joins in. One pup is cuter than the next, and you lose yourself in all the jumping, running, playing, and cuddling. You can't get enough of how cute they look, how soft their fur feels, and how their little ears smell like heaven. Even them nipping at your fingers with their little needle teeth endears them to you. While you are on the floor of that playroom, the world stops and all your cares are gone. You and Laura laugh and coo as you inhale the attention and innocent love you receive from these sweet creatures. You're on a lovely high of sorts. Even when a pup that you want to hold runs away from you, it's fun to chase after it, pick it up, and sweetly scold it for not coming to you as you desire. It's all rainbows and cartwheels while in the presence of these little cuties. That's his world. Welcome to the world of men and how they feel when in the company of women. How you feel with puppies, whether en masse with 17 around you, one-on-one with a special cuddler, or chasing after a little imp who nips at you. You enjoy every minute of your experience with puppies. Women are all puppies to men. They love us all. Big and tall, short and small, feisty and tame, or cuddly and elusive. From Dachshunds to Great Danes, Shih Tzus to Shepherds, Pit Bulls to Poodles. We are all endearing and appealing to men in one way or another. Just to be in our company feels engaging, comforting, relaxing, and fulfilling. Even when we nip at them, we are still intoxicating, interesting, alluring, and always visually stimulating to men. Have you ever been out and walked by a cute dog? If you are a dog lover, you can't help but be visually drawn and may even exclaim, "Oh, how cute!" without even thinking before the words come out of your mouth. At the same time, you might have moved toward the pup to pet it or let it jump on you with no thought of potential dirt or slobber. You don't know the doggy, but if it's friendly and affectionate, you'll find yourself embracing it, petting it, hugging it, and maybe even kissing it. This is the same kind of feeling men experience when looking at women as they walk by. On the streets of crowded cities, certain men will catcall to women. This is akin to how an exclamation of glee can't help but come out of you at times when you see a cute puppy. His whistle or wow, beautiful, or sexy simply comes out of him before he even thinks. Depending on the situation, the man, and the circumstances, it can either be flattering or offensive. Women question why men make remarks when women don't respond back. What do they expect, women ask me. Do they really think I'm going to turn around and do something or say something back? Know that you are a pretty puppy when you walk by and get a whistle or remark. Just as there are times when an "oh, how cute" simply comes out of you when you see a puppy, this is what is happening with a man who verbally responds to you when you walk by. If not for social mores and conventions, men would likely be making comments and gestures to women a great deal more than they do. In Italy, it's commonplace for men to touch women on the street. When out walking, men will touch women or even pinch them as they make a flirty remark. It's done in fun, as in boys will be boys. While waning in recent years, to Italians, this practice is a harmless display of men's appreciation for women that is still culturally accepted. While you might be thinking that it is their sexual desire that provokes men to make remarks or whistle at women passing by, I say that you are only partially correct. While there is a sexual component of the equation, it is smaller than you might imagine. It's more about an overriding feeling men have that encompasses all of their male being when they see the female form. Think of how you can't take your eyes off a cute puppy or kitten, especially when you are in a relaxed state of mind and aren't distracted by something important. Then think of how it might be if, in addition to that attraction, there was a component of sexual interest. This is what it is like to be male. Pretty distracting, no? You don't have to be best in show, or even a contender. Most of us are attracted to one breed of dog over another. Perhaps you prefer beagles to boxers, or bulldogs to Bichons. But if you like dogs, almost all breeds will be in some way appealing to you, either in looks or temperament. A gentle giant of a Rottweiler that is the sweetest dog you've ever encountered appeals to your heart. A snorting, bug-eyed pug is so loving you can't help but want to protect it from the world. Ever heard the expression, "It's so ugly it's cute"? While men have the breed or breeds they prefer, all women are appealing, attractive, or endearing to them in one way or another. How many times have you said or heard, "What does he see in her?" Quite simply, that bear of a mastiff is the sweetest, most loyal woman he has ever met and makes him feel like he is the best master there ever was on earth. She is absolutely beautiful in his eyes, and he loves how she is always steady, devoted, and dutiful. That spindly, nervous Chihuahua makes another guy feel like a big protector and giant of a man. When he is by her side and keeping her from shaking in fear, he is king of the world. What makes a younger woman more attractive than one that is older? What's cuter and more endearing, a 9-week-old romping, droopy-eared, innocent puppy, or the 12-year-old long-in-the-tooth old gal that doesn't have the pep to get up and go outside? Of course, it's the puppy. But when the younger qualities of a puppy are displayed in a mature woman, the same feelings can be easily evoked in a man. Age isn't as big a factor to men as women believe it to be. Many times, the older pup who has calmed down, behaves well, is loyal, loving, and doesn't require as much training, is more desirable to a man than a young puppy, especially if a man is mature in the real sense of the word and desires compatibility. Skeptical about the puppy principle? However simplistically disappointing and disheartening it might be, there has not been one man to whom I've explained the puppy principle who has not wholeheartedly agreed that it is the way he feels about and experiences women. Most importantly, if you give over to the puppy principle, it will free you to be more understanding of men and their behavior while comprehending what follows. How men commit. Back to the breeder. Still on the floor with all the puppies, you've found one that endears you. This one feels so right and you know he's just perfect. You love the way he comes to you, nuzzles your ear, and seems to connect with you when you take his little head in your hands and look into his eyes. While all the others are still running around, this little one has sidled up next to you and sits there sweetly, lightly licking your hand. You're in love. You've found the one. Miss Breeder comes back in and you excitedly show her your pick to take home. "Oh dear, I'm so sorry," she says. I forgot to take him out. He's already been adopted. You're crestfallen. Miss Breeder takes your special little guy out of your arms and out of the room. How he bounces back so fast. How long is it before you're back to petting, playing, and fully engaging with the other puppies again? 5 minutes? 10 minutes? Likely it won't be very long until you've forgotten your first pick, as other little precious pups in front of you are drawing your attention and making you feel comforted just by the sights, sounds, and smells of them. In a short time, if another pup in the group strikes your fancy, you are likely to consider adopting that puppy just as much as the first that you chose. If not, you may leave a bit disappointed, yet you'll do so having enjoyed your time with the little cuties, all with the knowledge that there are plenty of puppies in the world with whom you can easily fall in love. You'll simply go looking again, and in no time flat, you'll have a puppy to call your own. Welcome again to how a man feels when he is merely infatuated. Before he's hopelessly fallen in love, and most importantly, formally committed, he has no feelings of being bonded to any one woman. Because he is attracted to all women in one way, shape, or form, just as you find all puppies to be cute to one degree or another, a man knows he can easily become infatuated and will always be able to find a pretty pup that he will want to take home for one night or a lifetime. Even after you've made a real connection with a fantastic first date, the next day when he is out and a cute puppy crosses his path, he may just follow her home and ask her out. With all the cute puppies out and about, even if you're in a relationship, some men can still be so easily distracted that they will completely forget that you're waiting at home with a newspaper and slippers. Part of his process. You're back on the floor now with Laura when another precious puppy comes up to you. This one crawled up on your chest, licked your nose, and promptly fell asleep. He couldn't be any cuter. You feel his little puppy breath on your neck, and you're in love again. You've forgotten all about your first pick of a few minutes ago, and when Miss Breeder comes back in, you share the good news that you're hooked again. Before leaving to get the adoption papers, Miss Breeder notices Laura still cuddling a special shy little girl that she has been holding while the other pups have been jumping up and trying to get her attention. Laura hasn't been able to put this particular puppy down since she first set eyes on her and picked her up. "It seems like she's really fallen for you," Miss Breeder says. "I can give you a good deal on her because your friend is adopting today. Why don't you take her home? It looks like she loves you, and that you're starting to fall for her, too." Laura gets a sad look on her face. "Oh my," she says, "she is the cutest little girl ever. I just love her, but..." You immediately stop Laura from continuing and say, "Laura, she's perfect. You've got to take her. Don't risk losing her. You'll regret it if you walk out of here. She might not be here if you change your mind." How he decides. Laura almost tears up as she hands the puppy over to the breeder. "I'm so sorry, but please understand. This little puppy is just the best, most adorable thing ever, and I'm already beginning to fall in love with her. But I just started a new job, and I just can't give her all the attention she's going to need. I'm still paying off my student loans and don't have the funds available should she need anything or get sick. I also don't know how long I can stay at my apartment before I have to move. I'm just not settled enough, and I may want to leave my job in a few months. I want to take the summer to travel in Europe. No matter how much I love her or how much I want a puppy like her in my life, it's simply not the right time for me to take on the responsibility." when his practical side wins. In our little story, Laura represents a man who is not ready to commit because of practical factors in his life. We'll explore the state of this man in the next chapter. For now, it's important to know that for men, commitment is a responsibility for which they must be completely prepared. Despite a man's love for you, if he is not ready to take on the responsibility he views a committed relationship to be, he will decide the commitment is not right for him. As was the case with Laura saying no to her beautiful little puppy, a man will not usually forgo his rational determinations in favor of his feelings of love. When he decides to engage. You sign for your little guy and you and Laura are out the door. Laura drives while you hold your new little partner on your lap. You think of how you prepared for this moment so you could handle the extra expense. You remember suffering through that last awful job and feeling proud of yourself for saving some of each paycheck over the last few months. You moved to an apartment closer to work so you would be able to go home at lunch to attend to your new love and take him out. A month ago, you began walking every night to ensure that you developed the habit and would be comfortable taking your new puppy out before you go to bed. You took the time to discover if you were truly ready to take on the responsibility of another being. Now you can't wait to get to the pet shop to buy your new little guy that faux diamond collar you've been eyeing. That special sparkler states to the world that this is your guy. You are so excited to think of the years ahead and all the love and experiences you will have together. How he convinces himself. While on the drive, your new puppy starts to fuss and then vomits on your lap. Laura looks at you skeptically and asks, "Are you sure this is something you really want to commit to?" You cheerfully reach for the towel you brought with you and exclaim with glee, "I do." You both laugh as Laura confides that she is so relieved that she didn't give in to temptation and adopt the puppy she fell in love with. "I am so not ready to take on that kind of responsibility," she says. She continues on to say out loud what convinced her to overcome her feelings and stick to her decision. "I'm so glad I was able to resist the beautiful eyes on that puppy," she sighs. "I'll be more set financially next year when I'm finished paying off my loans and credit cards. I also want to trek through Europe this summer before I look for a new job. I'll definitely adopt someday, but now is not the right time. I know she'll find a good home that is better than I could provide at the moment, that's for sure. She'd be alone a lot, and she deserves to have someone who is around more. I still have so many other things I want to be doing. There'll be another puppy I'll love just as much when I'm really ready." You congratulate Laura on making a sound decision as you hold your puppy close and begin to bond with him. Laura reaches over and pets him often during the drive home as she promises you that she'll be there to take him on weekends and when you need to go visit your parents. You just can't wait to get home to settle in with your new love. Each passing moment with him reinforces your decision that he is the one for you. It's the principle. The puppy principle provides you with a way to understand how you are viewed and loved by men. It also provides you with insight into how men view commitment and why love and desire are not enough for a man to commit. With these key concepts, you are now ready to learn about the two states that men live in. One state allows a man to take on the responsibility of commitment, and the other state does not. Once you are able to recognize which state a man is in, you will be able to make informed choices about the men you date or the man with whom you are currently involved, so you can move your love life forward. I trust you got a lot of good information from today's video. and I enjoy bringing you content that is valuable for success in your romantic life. So don't forget to subscribe and hit the alert bell so you don't miss any of my upcoming videos. And if you want more on any of the content you see here, you can go to my book, Why Won't He Commit? How a Man Decides to Make You the One. You can order it at any fine retailer where you get your books. And if you want more on me or any of my programs, my podcast, go to CoachPaulagrooms.com, and we could be talking soon.